awards to radio personalities. It never makes the show.
Okay.
But for the radio has different formats, so obviously we all know that.
Good grief. I'm sorry. I've got to interrupt one more time. For like the 11th time,
Tim C has
it's folded to Andrew, and Andrew has opened and gotten 3-bet by Tim in the immediate next seat. This is the 3rd time.
All right, so I appreciate my buddy John's indignation there with the proceedings that are going on, the action in this hand. For once again, I'm opening up a marginal holding. I got the 5 high, the 5-4 hearts. Open it up in the hijack, and once again, Mr. Tim finds pretty nice hand here, ace king offsuit, and puts in a 3-bet. It's like the 3rd or 4th or 5th time that he has 3-bet me. At this point, I'm just trying to play some hands, raising up with the 5-4 hearts and then getting 3-bet in position. I would almost always just fold here. I feel like I think we're deep enough to make it not that terrible to peel here. But facing a very good player and being out of position with 5 high, probably not going to be that great of a situation that often. So pretty often I'm just going to let it go here. But all that being said, I'm trying to play some hands here for the stream. It's been a long time since I've been able to get a hand in for the audience, and that's what I'm going to try and do. So sick of folding, 5 high, suited connector, looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and peel here and see a flop. So the flop comes down 6-6-4, which is good news, bad news. Good news is we make a pair, we make 2 pair. In this exact situation, we do outflop Tim. So we move into the lead here with pair of 4s. I check it over to Tim. He puts out a C-bet. He bets $140. Can't fold right away here, having improved post-flop. So just straightforward call, I think, here. That's what I do. I make a call. Turns an offsuit deuce, so we add a gut shot straight draw to our pair. I check it over to him again, and this time Tim checks back. River card is pretty bad. River card is a king. So Tim gets there. Tim improves to kings and 6s. King is definitely better for his range than it is for mine, so pretty standard for me to check it over to him once again. This time he makes a pretty sizable bet. He bets $420, and it's a pretty interesting spot here on the river. I think all 3 options are valid and have merit. The king is definitely a good card for him to bet, regardless of his holding. I feel like he should be betting pretty close to his entire range here. I'm not sure, I'm not positive if he would be looking to take ace-queen, ace-jack to showdown, but I feel like he might bet that hand. I feel like he might bet those hands. Tough for me to say really, but it's tough for those types of hands to be in the lead here. There's so many other hands that he could have here, such as like queen jack, or even as we've seen before, he's able to take a naked ace using the ace blocker and put in a re-raise pre-flop. We saw him do that with ace deuce offsuit in a 4-bet situation. He put in the 4-bet and was successful there. So his range is still pretty wide here. So I think calling has some merit. But I wonder if the best play is actually to put in a sizable raise or jam on the river here, because I feel like once he checks back the turn, I feel like his range is slightly capped here. I don't know if he would check back much of anything on the turn. I don't think he has a 6-2 often, and if he does, I don't think he would check back on the turn. He might check some overpairs. He could check some overpairs on the turn, looking to pot control in case he is up against a 6. But with my exact hand, my hand is pretty close to the bottom of my range now on this board. It's tough for me to have too much worse here, having check called the flop. And with my exact hand, we block some full houses, having a pair of 4s. We block a hand like 6-5. We don't block 6-5 of hearts exactly because the 6 of hearts is on the board. So we block straights, we block full houses. So I think a river check raise actually has a pretty decent amount of merit, due to the fact that my hand ranks so low in my range on this run out, and that we block some pretty good hands. And I think Tim's range might be slightly capped on the turn after he checks it back. So I think there's a lot of merit there to the big check raise, and I think it's one of the areas in my game that could use some work. It's not a play that I make all that often, and especially versus a very good player like Tim, I'm a little bit hesitant to take the high variance route in some of these situations. So with all that in mind, I decide to take the very lowest variance route and decide on a very painful fold. But it doesn't end up being the worst of the plays. I could have easily found myself making a call here and talking myself into a call, talking myself into the fact that I know Tim's range can be pretty wide pre-flop, so I could see myself making the call, but happy I let this one go this time.